stay on HBO though and move on to the season finale of maybe the biggest surprise of the year to this point, Hacks. Um, this was a show that we were excited for. I think we're all in on the Gene Smart renaissance at this point, Smartassance. But
How can you not be? It's just
I mean,
hit after hit.
yeah, and especially like for our taste. Uh, just doing Mayor of Easttown, obviously.
Mhm.
She was in Watchmen too, and then
Yeah.
before that, doing Legion.
And Fargo season 2.
Yeah, that's right, and Fargo. Really, like right up our alley. With all of this, we were looking forward to this show, but this show is maybe in contention for my top 10 shows of the year at this point, because not only did this show, I think, balance both main characters and their storylines and their development really, really well. And I think fairly, like it never felt like I was getting tired of being with one or the other in terms of the characters. But this show just had so much heart, and it really, I think, explored themes of like why people make some of the decisions they make, even if it feels like it goes against who they are, like the sacrifices people choose in their lives because of wanting to meet another need in their life. I felt like it was just really interesting exploration of those things. While I think the dynamic between Gene Smart and Hannah Einbinder was just really phenomenal. And to have Hannah Einbinder, who I haven't seen in a lot of things before Hacks, if I think this is her first real major role, play so well off Gene Smart, I think that says a lot about her, and I'm excited for her career. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about her potential. But what did you like about the show so much?
Yeah, so something that I hadn't explicitly been thinking about. Looking back, this was a show that wasn't announced until the pandemic was well underway. So they managed to make this show during the pandemic. Can't tell. Looks awesome still.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing Gene Smart, I think, finally get that starring role, because
Mm-hmm.
like we just listed off what 5 signature shows of the past 10 years, and I think Gene Smart at this point, especially with Hacks now included, she's probably in like that like top 10 TV actors of the last 10 years or so. Like once you get past the obvious people, like that, especially that were leads, like your Bryan Cranstons and your Hams and stuff and your Dinklages. Once you get past the obvious, like really heavily awarded people, I feel like Gene Smart is right there, just because it's just such a impressive CV. So I think it's really awesome that you would see her get rewarded with a star vehicle like this. Again, this is she's an older woman, so that's no guarantee for an older actress to get
Mm-hmm.
a shot like this, right? But it's actually a really smart idea, right? Like as the title suggests, just an older comic, very wealthy, but kind of out of creative juice, out of anything left to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a perfect juxtaposition with a down on her luck young television writer from a different generation. Like it's a great concept, very simple, but and even the Las Vegas setting also feels like really smart and well
Yeah.
handled as well. And episode to episode, 30-minute comedy, huge plus, but episode to episode is just so pleasurable, right? Because you see, maybe there's a formula in a certain sense. It's like they, our two leads will conflict, but they'll be better together, but they'll still mainly conflict as new conflicts arise. Like it's really simple to see the skeleton of the show, but it's just executed on so well. And I
Yeah.
think it's really funny to see that the most humorous aspects of the show are outside of uh, the stand up bits, right?
Yeah.
And there's actually less stand up as you go into the show, because it's actually the least interesting part of the show. And to me, that's a good sign for any comedy. And thankfully, HBO has already renewed this show for a second season.
Yeah. It's really funny to think about, like, this is a show that really is about this person who became famous off her stand up. And I think the only real time you get with her beyond maybe like one joke on stage is when she tells off the guy in the night in the comedy club that time, and gives him $1.69 million never to perform again. Right. Other than that, you don't really see her actually perform on stage, but I think the juxtaposition that you talked about, where um, Ava's character is so ambitious and so career driven, and Jean Smart's Deborah is very much just comfortable with where she's at and doesn't really want to push the boundaries because she's like, I keep making money off doing these very safe, kind of
Right.
not really funny, but funny enough type gigs. And that's, kind of also then obviously driven by Marcus, who is her chief operating, or chief operating officer, I guess.
Yeah,
He's
right.
played by Carl Clemons-Hopkins. And, he brings also another interesting dynamic to the three. I guess you probably consider him the third main lead. And, I think it's just really smartly written. It all really weaves in together really well. And it's just very satisfying. Like, I feel like a lot of other shows would have brought Ava together with her partner by the end. I forgot what was it. It wasn't Nina. Nina was the mom. I forgot what her former partner's
Oh
name was.
shit.
But
Ruby.
and yeah, Ruby, and they would have had them totally hook up, and it would have totally derailed all the progress Ava made. But to see that character growth felt super satisfying. She's like, I want to be ready for this interview, and even if the interview maybe was something we weren't totally excited for as a viewer, it was still like nice to see Ava, I think, not like totally throwing her life away for this person that she was obsessed with. That was kind of like the driving force of things in the beginning. This breakup was like,
Mhm.
hey, now I need to like get away from LA for a little bit. I'll take this gig. Um, and I also think seeing the way that they came together around that special, you see Deborah take that chance, not listen to Marcus in the end. Um, this was like a really uh, satisfying payoff, even if obviously it didn't go well. And then that comes to a head in the final episode with Deborah showing up to Ava's dad's wake, and really that like very like
Mhm.
touching moment between them. So just I think overall really satisfying television, a lot of heart. I think there's some really funny moments. I love the interplay of Jimmy, played by Paul W. Downs, and his assistant.
Oh yeah.
Who is it? It's what's her name? Kayla,
Ayla. Mhm.
played by Megan Stalter. Uh, Especially in the final episode. Oh man, their interplay is so funny. But yeah, I think there's a lot to love about this show. Any particular like dynamic scenes, things that stood out to you that you really loved? Episodes
Just a,
maybe.
a lot of other down the line excellent casting. Christopher McDonald as the head of the casino,
Yeah,
excellent.
Judah.
Caitlin Caitlin Olsen as Deborah's adult daughter, really
Mm-hmm.
great. Love to see that from Caitlin Olsen just doing different kinds of work, even though it's very similar to Dee
Always
from
sunny.
Sunny at the end of the day. Uh, I like Poppy Lou as Kiki as well. Just
Mm-hmm.
there's just lots of nice little presences that pop up. Even as you mentioned, Paul W. Downs and Megan Stalter. There's just lots of great parts of the ensemble that you have to imagine are gonna feel even more paid off in the second season because it's gonna keep building this up and it's gonna be satisfying.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad that they've brought it on for a second season. Definitely a show that we recommend to anybody. And it's funny because I think after the first two episodes, we were like, there's some promise here, and to see where it really came along. I'm trying to
Mhm.
think maybe what episode was the turning point. Maybe it was unfortunately the one where Ava has that like crazy night with that guy, and he ends
Yeah,
up taking his
episode
own life.
5, I think it is.
Yeah, but I think really after that, her commitment to Deborah, and also Deborah's relationship with her seems to take a turn. I think that's when
Mhm.
um, things have really hit their stride for me. So definitely check this out. We're going to be talking about season 2 whenever it comes out.